Добрий день, шановні колеги, шановні друзі. Сьогодні з нами разом будуть Лілія Лизєбка, це голова групи членів СВІФТ в Україні. Сьогодні також ми будемо зустрічатися з нашими директорами в правлінні СВІФТ. 10 числа будуть проведені загальні збори СВІФТа, на яких будуть здійснюватися перевибори, де будуть обиратися нові директори СВІФТ. І якраз сьогодні ми хотіли би поговорити з нашими представниками від України, з Сореном Хугардом, який був нашим представником раніше, і з Бернардом Керлесом, який буде представляти Україну в майбутньому, після 10 числа, звичайно. Тому зараз подивимося, хто у нас є, з ким ми можемо почати нашу розмову. Hello, Soren. Yes. Hello, Soren. Yes. Now we'll see Soren. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. Good morning.
Oh.
Lilia.
Hi, is Lilia with us as well? Yeah. Oh, cool. So this is maybe Lilia. Maybe you can say a few words. Yeah. First of all, okay.
Yeah. So let me introduce myself. I'm a member of the board working in OTP Bank. It's Hungarian bank, Hungarian group, subsidiary in Ukraine. I am responsible for. I'm COO, actually Chief Operation Officer and Chief Information Officer. So everything, operations, IT, logistics, accounting, everything under my responsibility. I'm working in the bank more than 23 years. And actually, I started my career from payments, foreign currency payments, SWIFT messages, lost reconciliation. That was my first experience in the bank. And Yuri, who brought SWIFT to Ukraine, so we worked together for many years.
Yeah. So I would like to thank you, Lilia, that she's really just made a lot of input, her personal input to chair our user group, which is definitely quite large group in Ukraine. So there are many banks who have shares and who will be voting on the 10th of June on annual general meeting. And so maybe Lilia, maybe you just say a few words. What's the plan and what we'll be doing today? Yeah.
Yeah. So what will be our agenda? First of all, Soren will give word for you, your last word to the Ukrainian SWIFT community. Then it will be a word to Bernard, and then Yuri will tell our community about the new SWIFT platform. Then I think Yuri, you can tell about this K-consultant solution with open code, how it's related to SWIFT. Yura.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah.
And also we will talk. The last message will be about Lei, how to open account in Lei for our Ukrainian clients. So we'll give more information to our banks.
Okay. Так. Дякую дуже. Окей, so maybe we'll start with Soren. And just, між іншим, я хотів просто сказати всі, хто до нас приєдналися, будь ласка, По QR-коду ви можете зайти в кімнату, де ви можете ставити свої запитання. Будь ласка, пишіть назву вашої інституції, щоб ми могли побачити, хто ви, звідки, і в нашому лайв-полі, для того, щоб ми могли побачити всі інститути, хто сьогодні представлений на нас, на наших зборах. А також ви можете ставити свої запитання. А тепер я хотів передати слово Сорену, нашому дуже гарному директору, який був з нами на протязі останніх років і який дуже багато допоміг українському ком'юніті вирішувати наші питання. So Soren, I would like to ask you, so just maybe you can say a few words to the Ukrainian community. It was fun to work with you, it was so good. And it is a pity that you will not be, working with us. You will be with us all the time, no problem. But actually, yeah, we would like to hear a few words from you. So what do you think about, future of SWIFT community and Ukrainian SWIFT community as well? Okay.
Okay. But Yuri and all of you on the call, thank you so much for having me in this call today. And it's been, I have to say my Ukrainian is a bit rusty, so all of the introduction, I didn't actually pick it up. But Yuri, I'm sure you said a lot of wonderful things. And I just want to say to all of you, it's been a fantastic opportunity for me to represent your community over the last 6 years at the board of SWIFT. I have also had the pleasure to actually come and visit you. So on a couple of occasions where you have invited me to Kiev to be part of your gathering there, and that has been fantastic for me, not only to meet and greet and talk about SWIFT, but also, and I think that's even more important maybe, to have an opportunity to develop some of the relationships that we have between us as people, because it is, at the end of the day, everything that goes on here in our financial community to support payments, to support securities, to support the business that our customers do, all of that is glued together with the personal relationships that we create when we meet. So I have been fortunate enough to meet you guys, both in Kiev, but also at Cybers and other events. You are well represented as a community by Yuri, who has been very active in our ESA community also. So I think it's a testament to how we work together, that we can actually manage to keep all of this together in a good way. All good things come to an end. So the same thing also is with my tenure at the SWIFT board. I know I've introduced myself in my previous meetings with you guys, but I've been working with the Danske Bank in Copenhagen for over 40 years, and I felt it was time also to look at how I plan my personal life, and therefore I will actually retire from the bank in a month, and will then focus and start focusing more on my family, on my free time, and I look very much forward to that. So to your point, Yuri, also, I'm not leaving everything. I'm still here, and I'll still be active, hopefully also traveling, so maybe there's a chance we can meet somewhere in the future also. So SWIFT is a super important infrastructure. It's a grown-up fintech, as we usually call it, and the connectivity that SWIFT brings between banks, between some corporates and banks globally, that reach and that depth and quality of that network is quite exceptional. And with some of the things that are now in the pipeline for the future development of SWIFT in terms of the transaction platform, the way SWIFT and the banks are looking to modernize, if you will, the way we communicate with better standards, much of it hinged across to the ISO 20022 formats. All of that, I am sure, will further strengthen the whole relationship that is so important to support our business. So I'm very confident about the future, Yuri, and I think that the role that you play and your banks play in this community is super important. The growth of the business coming out of Ukraine is also both on the payments and security side very important to SWIFT, and therefore I'm sure that SWIFT will continue also to have a close follow-up on your needs and desires. So thank you for the time that we have had together. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
You are in good hands. You're in good hands with Bernard, and I know Bernard will sort of have the next minute to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, thank you very much. So we are living in a hyper connected world, and I think that
Yes.
SWIFT is helping us to make this world giga connected, you know. And because we are giga connected, you know, so hopefully you will keep in touch with us all the time. So just you're always welcome
Yes.
to Ukraine. And yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for everything, Søren.
Thank you.
And what I'd like to do, I'd like to invite also Bernard to us here. So Bernard, this is a very good friend of us, of Ukrainian community, and we used to work for many years together, and we met each other. And now we are supporting Bernard also as a SWIFT board director. So we hope that he will be as great, as brilliant board director for Ukraine as Søren was. And yeah, Bernard, we would like to hear a few words from your side. So what are the plans? So what do you think how things will be developing, and what do you think how you will help in Ukraine community, and how we can help you, you know, just to be the great board director. Okay.
No, thank you very much, Yuri. It's indeed an honor to be here and to engage with your community. First of all, I feel the pressure. Søren has got big shoes to fill, maybe smaller in size than me, but yeah, I'm up for the challenge, and I really look forward to working with your community. Yes, our relationship isn't a new one; it goes back quite a few years now, and a relationship that I value. But I really look forward to the challenge and the opportunity to support your community. Maybe just a bit of background on myself, if you would like. I've been in the bank also nearly 40 years. Joined in 1982. I worked up through the ranks. I've been through various disciplines: credit, sales, relationship management, operations. Two of my more recent senior positions, I was a regional director for one of the provinces on the relationship management and sales side. I was also head of operations for our Africa businesses, and I must admit I learned a hang of a lot about payments and international trade and the like with my time in Africa and supporting our African subsidiaries. I became the head of what's called Settlement at SWIFT, which is a business unit within Group Treasury within FirstRand Bank. FirstRand Bank is the biggest commercial bank in South Africa in terms of market cap. And my role there is to oversee the SWIFT strategy for the group. SWIFT is not just seen as an infrastructure, another channel within my bank, but seen as a very important strategic enabler. So it gets a lot of profile in FirstRand Bank. My job also is to oversee the high value RTGS system, and obviously that's a critical area in the bank as well. Became the chair of the South African National Member Group in 2017, and then was very honored to be elected to the board on behalf of ESA in 2018. Most of my work has been looking after Africa. As you know, Africa is an important part of the ESA vote and that support. And I think we've grown the support quite markedly over the last 3 years. We have a lot of new countries now supporting that didn't support in the past. Just on the personal side, I have a wife and a daughter. I love traveling, although that's been curtailed over the last 18 months. I enjoy reading about current affairs. I'm a Liverpool supporter, and any Man United supporters out there, I'm sorry. And you can see I'm wearing the red of Liverpool. I enjoy nature and bird watching, and that's really me. You talk about the interconnected world. I mean, it does seem a little bit strange that somebody down right at the tip of Africa will be representing you on the board, but that's the new world. I mean, we're all interconnected. It's a global village, or probably a bit more of a global city now. I do realize that it's going to be a little bit different in that, and traveling to your country and coming to visit you is probably going to be a little bit more difficult than Soren experienced. But I think you need to be sure that I have a commitment to look after you as best as I can, to hear your issues, your problems, and see where I can help you going forward. Ukraine is a very important part of ESA and of SWIFT, and we need to make sure that continues. You are a fairly large community, and you represent a decent amount of traffic, which is important to SWIFT. So that's me, and my commitment to you is to help you where we can and to support you. I'm available whenever you need me for your meetings or special events. Please feel free to call on me, and I will do my best to add value to your events and functions.
Yeah, okay. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for these words. And yeah, it's very, very good to know from you. It's awesome, that, you're just a very, very, very great personality, so you have your personal life and you have a lot of experience. And I hope that what you're doing in the SWIFT board is very important. But I have just a few words. Maybe you can say a few words or a few comments on the new SWIFT platform, because everybody is just interesting, and you are just involved in a board discussions, and you see how it is evolving. And in our last meeting, we see really it's just everything is just in flux and everything is just moving. So, for example, we hope that soon we will be connected to SWIFT through API, but we still don't have, any business model how it will work, from SWIFT. So, I mean, everything is moving just dramatically fast. And what do you think how this will evolve, and what will be your recommendations to our banks, to our community, how we can cope with this rapid change?
Yes. Yeah, look, the new SWIFT strategy, it's a very ambitious, a very bold strategy, but it's definitely workable and doable, and it's very, very exciting. I'm thrilled to be part of SWIFT during this very interesting and exciting time. Obviously, the whole point of the SWIFT strategy is to enable instant, frictionless payments, account to account, anywhere in the world. I mean, that's the essence of the strategy. It's being built on the very strong foundations that are already being created through GPI. So we're not building from scratch, which is a huge advantage. And we're going to see the transformation of the existing SWIFT platform from the old, or the old, and I say it's still current, the current sequential messaging, to a more holistic transaction management process. And this will, apart from other things, will create mutualized services, services which are currently procured by institutions separately and individually, like sanction screening, payments controls, and the like. And we'll see that evolution of the current platform to the TMP, as you know, as you've heard about, the transaction management platform or the transaction manager. And that will play a major role in the realization of the strategy. I think it's important to realize that the TMP itself is not the strategy, but the TMP will facilitate and enable that delivery of instant and frictionless transactions. And we must remember it's not just payments, and I use the word transactions because it's not just payments, it's a very important security side of things as well. So the TMP will have a number of benefits. It'll obviously enhance the existing platform, and as I said before, the foundation is already in place. We'll continue to see the sequential messaging, but it'll have greater enhancements and added functionality. I've spoken about the mutualized services. and you've seen the discussion paper on sanctions screening, and I think that's just the start. There's possibility and potential for a lot more mutualized services within the platform that users can draw on. You'll have full transparency of the end-to-end transaction, providing end-to-end integrity. And yes, you spoke about APIs. It's going to involve new technologies, the ubiquitous APIs. I mean, APIs have taken off, and they really are regarded now as the interface of the future. Cloud technology will be enhanced and will grow a lot. And with the data, we'll obviously have the rich data capabilities of ISO 20022. And that data will be available to all transactions, all parties to the transaction at any time within the platform. So it'll allow interoperability as well between different standards. I hope you can, yes, you can still see me, hopefully. Different standards, channels, protocols across currencies, and all this done while still ensuring SWIFT's operational excellence, resilience, and security, which are all non-negotiable. The TMP is also going to allow migration to ISO 20022 in a much better and easier way, particularly for small to medium sized users. It will maintain that complete transaction data and provide the status information for these transactions. And the backward compatibility will allow all institutions to migrate to 20022 at their own pace without impacting the rest of the community. So the TMP will have tremendous benefits. And as I say, it will support the very exciting SWIFT strategy that's unfolding, and that I think we're all going to be a part of. So hopefully that gives you a sort of a flavor of the strategy and the TMP.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's very, very interesting, very interesting observation. Yeah, and it's very interesting to know how SWIFT will develop, and because Soren is still with us here. So may I also ask you a question? You know, for example, what do you think? What will be the role of SWIFT for the connectivity to market infrastructures? For example, here we know the GPI is helping us very much for the business with the correspondent banking, but you know, these days we can potentially actually make our payments directly through SEPA, you know, and we know that there is the SMIG right now, and hopefully SWIFT will enable this connectivity, so we can work not only through our corresponding network, but maybe we can work directly with the big market infrastructures, like, you know, just what is based on SEPA or things like this. Because right now what we are doing, you know, in our community, we are just translating in Ukrainian the EPC SEPA credit transfer instant. Yeah, and this is, and we can use this scheme, you know, also as a service level agreement for Ukrainian banks when, you know, we have a ability to connect to the settlement and clearing mechanisms in Europe. Then maybe SWIFT can play a really just great role. So all the banks can reuse their infrastructure, and they can have access, you know, to the pan-European infrastructures for payments, for instant payments predominantly. What do you think? Maybe, I don't know, just maybe Soren, maybe you can tell. What do you think? Because Soren, you are just in European institution. Maybe it's just closer to you.
Yeah. No, but I it's a good question, Yuri, and it's a relevant question. SWIFT is focusing a lot on market infrastructures, as you know, and have close contact and close dialogue with many of these both regional but also global institutions that are developing new schemes in infrastructure. SEPA is just one which is relevant for the Eurozone, right? But I can share with you also in the region that I operate in the Nordics, we have since a few years back a joint initiative across Finland, Norway, Sweden and Denmark to create a Nordic payment infrastructure that will facilitate the banks in those 4 countries to have real-time instant payment settlement of all types of payments in the Nordics. That is, of course, something that is relevant also to SWIFT, to see how SWIFT can help and assist both with the interconnectivity and the settlements between the central banks in these 4 countries, but also how to connect between the Nordic utility and the rest of the world through the usual network that is provided. So to your point, Yuri, I think apart from the transaction management platform and the ISO migration, the whole connectivity through new actors or existing market infrastructures on the payment side, as well as on the security side, is something that is very high on the agenda of SWIFT also. And that's a benefit to all of us banks, because if we can reuse the infrastructure which we have built with our partners, but also internally in our own operations, that is a huge efficiency driver for us, and will secure also just in time and best practice in terms of delivery to our customers. So I hope that is a reasonable response to your question, Yuri.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It is very interesting, and because now we are just exploring all these opportunities. And for example, we are talking. This is Lilia is also with us today, and she's with OTP Bank, and they have their headquarters in Hungary. And Hungary is very advanced these days, in instant payments. So as far as I know, yes. So they have long ago they started this journey to instant payments, and they are just pretty advanced in that. And this is one of the opportunities to Ukrainian banks as well. Maybe just to make a connection through one of the banks, like Switzerland did. Or maybe potentially like Nordic countries just joined their efforts together and just had some regional platform where it's possible to make instant payments. Yeah.
The driver of this is, of course, efficiency and customer needs, right? But there are a lot of hurdles on the way. So it's not just about the banks getting an agreement about a service level agreement, SLA. But it's also about, when you talk about different countries, then suddenly you have the central banks in those countries having a certain opinion as to how things should move. And so it takes time, and it's not something that just comes overnight. But I think the importance of all of this is to continue the conversation and to have all the people that are relevant gather around the same table. And maybe, Yuri, if you allow me, just to reference back to ESA, if you remember, we now have an ESA community of almost 30 countries where we have participation by not only commercial banks, but also to a certain extent, central banks are represented. The national member group, the national user group chair in Denmark is a senior person from the central bank in Copenhagen, by the way. So he actively participates regularly on our ESA meetings. And that's to my point about having the right people around the table, Let's use that, or you should use that rather, because I'm stepping out, but you should use that opportunity when you have the right people around the table to raise these questions and to share the experiences that you have made, but also get the experiences back home in your community from the friends that you are surrounded with.
Oh, great. Yeah, thank you very much. Bernard, and maybe you...
just a comment from my side, if I may, just on market infrastructures. Oh.
Yes, go on.
Yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, yes, everything is right.
Not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, so market infrastructures are very, very important. And I think they've been a driver in many initiatives, and SWIFT has recognized that, and SWIFT sees the importance of market infrastructures, and I think vice versa. I think the market infrastructures see the value in SWIFT regarding reach, security, resilience, and all those good things. Here in Africa, we have a number of regional payment schemes down in South Africa and within the SADC region, the Southern African region. There's ones in East Africa and West Africa. The trick is to get them to be interoperable and to work together, as Soren alluded to as well. But the marketing structures are very important. They've initiated many initiatives. I mean, just ISO 20022 itself. I think the tipping point for the final agreement and decision to go ISO was driven by the market infrastructures, who were gradually switching in their modernization programs to the new standard. So they are very important. I'm not that familiar with the European ones, and that's something that I have on my high on my to-do list, is to become familiar with the European structures, ESMIG and SEPA. But I will do my best to understand those so that I can assist if needed.
Okay. Oh, great. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your good comments. Lilia, maybe you have something to comment. So what do you see from Ukrainian daughter of the International Bank, which is quite active in Ukraine? So what maybe you can add something.
I think concerning international banks, we are mostly following our headquarters, because we have centralized platform, and based on the speed of our headquarters, we can also move with the implementation of the new services from SWIFT and to this new transactional platform. For example, in our bank, we are pushing GPI services with our headquarters. We are discussing it already 2 years, and they just promise us end of 2002 they will do something. So I think Ukrainian banks, not international, will have more freedom with implementation of new SWIFT services than international banks, who is dependent.
Okay. Oh, great. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this great discussion. And if you'd like, you can all follow with us. But maybe we will slowly move to our next topic of discussion today. So it is actually the open source software. So we used to use this open source software in many areas, Unix, just open solutions with a blockchain, just many good things which came from open source. And open source is important because it's just more like a community thing. So everybody is just using it and everybody is improving it. Yeah, there are some plus and some minuses, but we have in our community, in our Ukrainian community, we have our member, just УkrSWІФТ member, which is K-Consultant. And this is a very interesting, nice company, international company, which is not active not only in Ukraine, but what they are doing there, they are involved in open source software, just developing the software, supporting the software which will help to actually connect to SWIFT, but this is open source. So we have I think we have Ina, hello. Oh, Susan, we have Susan with us.
Susan.
Yes. Susan
Ina
with
is
us.
joining.
Oh, okay, yeah. Ina is joining as well. Yeah, so Susan is representing K Consultants. Yeah, and what we'll have today, we will have a presentation from K Consultants, and you can see you will see this presentation, and we hope that you will also see the subtitles in Ukrainian. Okay, and in this way, I hope that our Ukrainian community can really just take a look what's up with the community and what we can do with the open source solutions. If you mind.
Yuri, may
Yes?
I just This is Søren here. So
Okay.
before you move on, maybe can I just say that I will have to move on also here. I enjoyed being on the call, but I have to jump onto another call momentarily. So I want to leave the forum to you guys to discuss. And I just wanted to say that, again, thank you, appreciate your support. I will miss your friendship and the interactions we have, but don't be shy. I will still be on LinkedIn. I'll still be approachable. And don't forget Denmark and support Denmark in our next upcoming European Soccer Championships that are starting next week. So vote for us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Soren. Thank you very much for your great work, and definitely we will be keeping in touch. This is for sure, and it was a pleasure to work with you, and it will be a pleasure to communicate with you in the future. So have great time. So enjoy your life, you know, and and let's move together in the future.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Soren.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the ProWhite software presentation. A little overview over the company. ProWhite started with the open source software in 2006. In 2007, a commercial company was formed in Argentina to support the open source. In 2010, K-Consultants became distributor for Europe and Canada, and in 2014, a global distributor. In 2016, ProWhite International formed as a joint venture between ProWhite and K-Consultants, with headquarters in Luxembourg. In 2018, Fintegra became the first Asian partner for Asia Pacific. ProWhite has more than 70 financial institutions customers and more than 60,000 downloads of the open source ProWhite Core and ProWhite ISO 20022. Customers are located over the whole world. In the US, we have, for example, Wells Fargo. We also have Citigroup. We have State Street and many others. In Europe, we have Credit Suisse, Sparkasse, Commerzbank, SIX in Switzerland. In Asia, we have Mizuho. In Australia, ANZ, and many, many others. This is only just a few of them that I'm mentioning. And in Russia, we have VTB. The ProWhite software architecture has 3 layers. At the center of it is core, the open source, which is always present. It doesn't matter if you have integrator or enterprise, it's always there in the middle. With core, you can do simple things like parsing a message, creating a message, and a little bit more, which we will see later. Integrator on top of it adds validation, including semantic validation, MTMX translation, and MyFormat. The MyFormat module is a translation between proprietary formats to MT and MX. Then we have Enterprise, and Enterprise, of course, will include Integrator and Core in its center. Enterprise is a full-blown application. It's a web-based application, so somebody will log in, will be able to create a message, to verify, to authorize, and do other things, depending on the modules you have. Those modules are matching for trades, you can match trades, duplicate checks, to check duplicates, and of course it has translation and validation, obviously, and MyFormat as well, because Integrator has those as well. So the ProWhite Core, the open source, the center of everything, was created in 2006 as WIFE. So on the internet, you can still see it mentioned as WIFE. And it was already in 2006 commercially supported for support. The Provide Core open source is a Java model for ISO 15022 MT. The second package of core, which is called ISO 20022, does the MX, the same thing for MX. On this slide, we're only talking a bit about MT. The parser can parse from MT, Fin, or RJ into Java. Then you have a builder API from Java to MT, Fin, or RJA. You can convert to JSON and proprietary XML, which is our own XML. Then you have a complementary model suited for persistence, IBAN validation, and BBAN validation as well. There's an API for the GPI services from Swift with the automatic generation of the UETR field. And the source code and community is supported at GitHub. And online documentation we have, as well as Javadoc. The Provide Core main feature is a layered design, which has specific use for message creation, parsing, and persistence. The message content can be converted back and forth to XML and JSON. When parsing a message, it provides a simple way to read any field without needing to understand the details of the internal structure. And when creating a message, the focus can be on the business data without having to know the internal format of the FinMT message. Now, the Provide ISO 20022 is the equivalent of the core for MT, but this time for MX. So it has a Java model for the ISO 20022, a parser from XML into Java model, a builder API from Java to ISO and to XML, conversion to JSON, of course, complementary models suited for persistence, and support multiple application headers. The source code and community support, again, is at GitHub. Online documentation we have, and Javadoc is provided. And of course, it is also commercially supported by subscription. The main features from the Provide ISO 20022 are similar to the Provide Core. Again, parsing a message is simple. It will read any element without the hassle of processing the XML structure. And creating a message is exactly the same way. You can focus on business data without knowing the internal format of the XML message generated. To support the Provide Core and the Provide ISO 20022, Provide provides services in the form of support subscription in 3 different sorts of subscription: the basic, the premium, and the gold. And we also have complementary software in the Provide Integrator and, of course, the Provide Enterprise. The benefits of using open source: of course, it is cost effective. It's just free. You don't have to pay for it. It is transparent as you have the source code. It is community supported, reliable because everybody tried it, so all the bugs have been worked out. It is agile and flexible. You can adapt the code to custom usage. It is secure because it's publicly available. And it is the future, as more and more open source are used everywhere in the banking world. The Provide Integrator is a commercial module, which is built on top of the Provide core. It is composed of a base, which is the SDK, and 3 modules which go on top of it. The Provide Integrator SDK, so the base of the integrator, includes the restricted ISO 20022 for SEPA, CBPR+, and SEC. So if you have core and want to use SEPA, CBPR+, or SEC, you do need the Provide Integrator SDK. It also supports XML version 2 and low signing for SAA integration. It has expanded printout with localized information and also a big dictionary. The Provide Integrator modules, which go on top of the SDK, are MyFormat, MTMX translation, and validation. Each module provides specific functionalities and are available as part of each other. So you can buy MyFormat or validation only. But if you have MTMX translation, you will always need validation. The Provide Integrator validation module will validate a message based on the structure, the fields, the semantic, and custom rules. The semantic is just like Swift. For example, if field 32b is in euro, you need to have field 33 present. Otherwise, we reject the message. Custom rules are made by you. For example, you can say, for this correspondent, I want to have this code word in this field. So you can customize the rules for the validation. It validates both MT and MX messages, and we have localization in English, Spanish, French, Italian, and Russian. It also validates the BIC, the country, and the currency. The Provide Integrator MTMX translation has 200 and more out-of-the-box translations. If one of the translations that you need is not present, then we will develop it for you, and it is included in the price. All translations are based on the Swift translation rules. It is a runtime library, so it does not need any extra mapping or coding or whatever. And every year it is updated to the latest Swift standards. The Provide Integrator MyFormat module supports CSV, XML, and fixed-length formats. It is a simple Java runtime library which does not need any code generation. However, you need to configure an Excel file which contains about 50 and more transformation functions available. You will need to do the mappings yourself. It is also possible to add this configuration into a database. The Provide Enterprise is on top of the Provide Core open source and the Provide Integrator. It's a full stack application. It's installed on your premises. It handles messages. It can be used also for archiving of message entry. It has translations for MTMX and custom, just like MyFormat. It has matching module for matching traits, which is also customized. And it can detect duplicate messages. It uses MQ series and EFT to communicate with the Alliance Access or the back office. Also, it has a REST API that you can use as well for the back office. Here we can see just a browse for the messages in the provide enterprise. So we can see the different status, like one is waiting for verification, or one is a duplicate, the other are delivering. If you open one of the messages, then you would see message details and a lot of information actually, because you can even add comments, you can have an audit on the message, what happened to the message, who changed values in the message, and so on. To know more about the enterprise, we can give a live demo, but here is just to give you an idea of how the application looks like. The Provide Enterprise translation view here on the slide shows the translated messages. Should we click on one of them, then we would see the original message and the translated message. A real demo of the Provide Enterprise will give you a better idea, of course, of how this is and what information you get and how does it work. It's just to give you an idea. The Provide Enterprise matching module. Here on the slide we can see the view for the matching, and we can see the statuses on match, mismatch, or match for the different trades. What is good to know is that the matching rules can be customized, so you can create your own rules for matching, and the ones given are the same as the SwiftNet Accord. So it's the same matching rules as SwiftNet Accord. Again, a demo will show all the possibilities with this module. Finally, for the Provide Enterprise Duplicate Check module, we can see the differences in this view. Actually, we can see the differences between an original and a duplicate. So which fields to match or not match. In this particular case, everything matches the other message. It's also possible to configure duplicate to have partial duplicates. So you can see if this field and that field are the same. For me, it's a duplicate.
Thank you very much. Дякую, Інна, за презентацію. Maybe we have any questions, or somebody have questions regarding this software. Actually, I have, Inna, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the question is, for example, if Ukrainian bank wants to start developing access to SWIFT through your open banking solution, what does it mean? What kind of steps do they have to make, and do they need really to participate actively in development and support of open source, or it's just simply they can use this software to access SWIFT and send and receive messages with this solution, or it is like a flexible approach you can do it in different ways. So what do you recommend for Ukrainian banks, and what do you think about the involvement in the open source software?
For example, Provide Integrator. This is as well a library which provides the additional APIs. Yeah, and if the company, the organization prefers to have a complete full stack application, then they can use as well Provide Enterprise. Yeah, so it depends on and it is. Yeah, they do not, if it is needed to be customized, then it can be still discussed, and we can actually do a lot with with the requirements. So, and to fit it to the organizational needs, I would say, yeah. Suzanne, would you like as well something to add?
Yes, the open source, you can use it as is, and of course you can add to it if you want, but you're not obliged to maintain it and to change the open source. So you can create your own project, and from it you can build your own application. It is also true for the provide integrator. So integrator, you can use it as it is and integrate it within your application. That one you cannot really change it. You can use it and build around it, but you cannot change it because it's not open source. So that one's a bit different. But the core, you can always change everything you want within it, of course.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any other questions? No, I don't think so. But anyway, yeah, we will just we send your presentation to all our participants, and definitely we will need to discuss how we can use open source and how we can use your open source. And I don't know, I'll just ask Lilia. Лілія, можливо, є якісь зауваження стосовно використання open-source, ну, на прикладі вашого банку, наприклад, чи ви використовуєте зараз open-source рішення, чи розглядаєте в майбутньому використовувати?
Мы используем решение open source. Мало того, наш головной офис нам рекомендует все больше использовать open source решения и уходить от таких зависимостей таких компаний, как Microsoft и Oracle, по возможности. Поэтому open source welcome.
Okay. Yeah. Дякую дуже. Yeah, thank you, Ina. Thank you, Susan, for great presentation, and we will just distribute all your materials to our members, and we hope that we will be, as Lilia said, that we will be using more and more open source solution in our practice, because it just is
Yes.
As you said, this is the future. Okay. so
That's true. And if there will be any questions or any specific, we can as well make one more presentation maybe on a certain question which is interesting for the bank. Yeah. So, and we can as well, the open source, it can be used. Yeah. And as well, we can give a trial version of our products. So it is all flexible, and we are open to discuss and to answer on all the questions. Maybe through you, Yuri, the other Swift users in Ukraine can send us as well the questions, comments, what to say.
Definitely will do. Susan, are you with us? Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So just my question to you. So what do you think how banks should be involved when they just accept open source software? So should they really just contribute to the development open source, or they simply you regard them as users of open source solutions?
Well, in our experience, there are more users, actually. They do develop, now and then we hear about it, but they don't tell us much. They keep it. So we don't know exactly, of course, what they do with the open source. So now and then we do see that they sort of grow the open source. They work on it and make it their own. But for us, of course, they are user, because every year, of course, there's an upgrade for the new Swift maintenance, so they need not to be too far away from it, because of course they need to upgrade that as well.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation. Nice presentation from you, Susan. Nice presentation from you, Ina. And we will keep in touch and just we'll develop together open source solutions for banks in Ukraine. Thank you.
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
Thank you.
Окей. Так, у нас тепер ще декілька слів я хочу сказати. Єдине, що ми досить довго вже з вами працюємо, вже годину працюємо, і я спробую бути дуже коротким. І хотів би повідомити вам про те, що у нас відбувається з Ну, по-перше, стосовно нової платформи SWIFT, ми вже мали бесіду з Бернардом і з Сореном. Вони повідомили, яким способом ми зможемо використовувати нову платформу SWIFT. Вона зараз еволюціонує, розвивається. Я дуже вас прошу, якщо ви ще не завантажили файл, який називається New Platform Connectivity, тобто як підключатися до нової платформи до SWIFT, загрузіть його, будь ласка, ознайомтеся з ним і подивіться, що на нас чекає, яким способом ми будемо підключатися до SWIFT, як SWIFT буде працювати в майбутньому, тому що ви знаєте, що плани для того, щоб запустити нову платформу, нова платформа почне працювати з листопада 2022 року. Що означає, листопад 2022 року не так уже і далеко від нас. Тому це те, що стосується нової платформи. Далі, сьогодні ми з вами продивилися рішення з відкритим кодом, які пропонуються. Я думаю, що ми будемо більше і більше залучатися до таких рішень. Також у нас є питання клієнтського доступу до рахунків у рамках Open Banking. Тобто багато з вас, мабуть, були на вебінарі, який робив Національний банк України стосовно миттєвих платежів. Очевидно, що і Національний банк підтримує розвиток в цьому напрямку. Для нас, як для спільноти, теж дуже важливо, наскільки ми зможемо користуватися можливостями підключення до європейської, в першу чергу, інфраструктури, тому що Європа близько до нас, у нас дуже великий товарооборот з Європою. Звичайно, що нас цікавить, як ми можемо проводити наші розрахунки з Європою швидко, щоб і наші експортери могли швидко отримувати гроші, і наші українські громадяни також могли легко платити і отримувати послуги або купувати товари в Європейському Союзі. Для цього фактично нам треба мати доступ до кліринго-розрахункових механізмів, ми це зараз обговорюємо, ну і Національний банк також долучений до цієї дискусії. От. Але саме головне, саме перше, що ми хотіли би зробити, це, звичайно, оглянути те, що робить Європейський Союз, підключаючи всі свої країни, їх у нього досить багато, і для того, щоб всі вони працювали однаково, треба вирішити дуже велику кількість проблем, а для цього існує така організація, як EPC, European Payment Council, яка розробляє для Європейського Союзу фактично схеми розрахункові. І ми з вами, як ви знаєте, на нашій PMPG, Payment Market Practice Group український, ми розглядали це питання, ми зараз займаємося перекладом українською мовою. SEPA Credit Transfer Instant для нас це дуже важливо, тому що, по-перше, якщо вже використовувати якийсь сервіс level agreement для того, щоб доставатися до інфраструктури, то краще використовувати вже кимось зроблений, а саме європейцями. Тому, звичайно, якщо ми зможемо взяти за основу цей документ, переробити його і зробити сервіс level agreement для того, щоб доступатися до ринкових інфраструктур, це... Ми думаємо, що буде великим проривом і дійсно дасть змогу нашим українським банкам краще обслуговувати українських клієнтів, для того, щоб вони могли легко платити і отримувати гроші з Європейського Союзу миттєвим способом. Тому слідкуйте, будь ласка, уважно за роботою нашої PMPG. Також слідкуйте за тим, як працює наша українська Securities Market Practice Group, тобто це теж група, яка займається тим, щоб описувати ринкові практики в цінних паперах. Ситуація там значно складніша, ніж в платежах, тому що стандартизації там треба робити ще й робити. Але тим не менше підхід є, і SWIFT дає нам дороговказ. Фактично глобальна група SWIFT, SMPG, займається питаннями стандартизації і доступу до рахунків, стандартизації обміну інформації. Тому ми будемо разом з SWIFT продовжувати оброблювати цю інформацію і затверджувати свої власні стандарти. Крім того, я хотів зазначити, що УкрСВІФТ, ми з вами, наша асоціація, ми виступили ініціатором і засновником створення дзеркального комітету ТК-68 в Україні. Тобто це технічний комітет ІСО, який займається стандартизацією в сфері фінансових послуг. Тому теж для нас є дуже велика робота. Фактично ми маємо прикласти і українською мовою дуже багато стандартів, включаючи той самий стандарт ISO 20022, про який йдеться дуже багато, але поки що він не є зареєстрований в Україні. Тому наша задача буде теж і цей стандарт зареєструвати, і крім того, дуже-дуже багато стандартів, які нам корисні для того, щоб ми могли працювати і ефективно проводячи розрахунки між собою, між українськими банками, так і проводячи розрахунки з іноземними банками. Стосовно леї в Україні, теж коротеньке повідомлення. Так, ми дуже активно долучилися до цього процесу надання лей. По-перше, ви знаєте, що всі наші члени, всі члени УкрСВІФТ мають право, і ми вважаємо, що повинні отримати, тому що це якщо ви є членом УкрСВІФТа, то ви маєте мати лей. Звертайтеся, будь ласка, до нас в будь-який момент. Ми готові давати вам лей, якщо ви ще не маєте цих лей, і ви можете їх використовувати. Це до вас не буде ніякої додаткової платні, тобто ви можете їх для себе взяти. Крім того, на сьогоднішній день у нас в нашій спільноті українській 3-4 банки розглядають можливість стати валідаційним агентом. Це проект разом з Глайфом, тобто організацією, яка займається видачею леї по всьому світі, методологією і так далі. І ми надіємося, що скоро декілька українських банків почнуть видавати леї для своїх клієнтів, що буде дуже зручно. В принципі, цей процес розпочався з того, що великі банки здійснили деякий тиск на Глайф, тому що дійсно при видачі леї фактично збирається та сама інформація, яка збирається при відкритті рахунку або подовженні рахунку. Тому, звичайно, логічним є крок такий, щоб банки і видавали леї. Для кого вони потрібні? В першу чергу для тих, хто займається міжнародним бізнесом, експортером і імпортером. Тим, хто займається внутрішнім бізнесом в Україні, мабуть, вони не дуже сильно потрібні поки що, але треба зазначити, що леї будуть скоро обов'язковими для використання при платежах на юридичні особи в усьому світі. Тобто це поле буде обов'язковим в свіфтових повідомленнях. Коли це буде, ми точно не знаємо, але надіємося, що роки за 3, за 4 це буде реальністю, тому що зараз про це йде дуже багато мови. Леї допомагають банкам, леї допомагають корпораціям в процесі KYC, тобто знає свого клієнта, і також дуже сильно допомагають в процесі KYCC, тобто знає клієнта свого клієнта. Тому леї для нас дуже важливі, і ми будемо продовжувати роботу над цим. Ось, в принципі, все те, що я хотів вам розповісти, те, що відбувається в нашій українській спільноті. Ми сьогодні з вами мали можливість поспілкуватися з нашими директорами SWIFT. Я дуже прошу наших членів, і я думаю, що Лілія тут теж приєднується до мене, що ми дуже просимо вас, хто ще не заповнив форму для голосування на загальних зборах СВІФТа, які відбудуться 10 червня. Дуже просимо вас це зробити. Якщо ви не знаєте, як це зробити, звертайтесь, будь ласка, в УкрСВІФТ, ми вам обов'язково допоможемо. Але це є, це є ваш громадянський обов'язок члена кооперативу. Тобто, чим більше людей будуть присутні на загальних зборах, тим більш успішними вони будуть. Тому ми дуже просимо вас, заповнюйте довіреності на Явара Шаха, надавайте ці довіреності, загальні збори СВІФТа в цьому році 10 червня, скоро вже, будуть проходити онлайн, і ваші доручення допоможуть зробити ці збори успішними. Так, окей, Ліля, можливо, є якісь доповнення? Так, немає. Чи маємо ми якісь запитання? Я дивлюсь, поки що я не бачу запитань. Я думаю, що якщо будуть якісь запитання відповідно до наших зборів, то, будь ласка, направляйте їх до нас. До речі, теж я дуже прошу вас реєструватися на сайті, тому що ми зараз створили закриту частину сайту для наших членів, де ви, як наші члени, можете завжди подивитися всі матеріали. Це презентації, це матеріали по СВІФТу, це новини СВІФТа, і так далі і тому подібне. Всі наші засідання, презентації, які ми будемо використовувати, а також матеріали засідань з ІСИ, тому що European Swift Alliance сьогодні разом з нами був Бернард, він також є членом ІСИ, і всі матеріали, ми також, як Україна, беремо активну участь у ІСі. ІСою також виступають дуже часто члени правління і якби люди відповідальні за розвиток бізнесу СВІФТа. Тому всі презентації, які ми будемо мати від ІСи, ми будемо розміщувати на нашому сайті в спеціальній зоні, яка призначена для вас. Тому дуже просимо реєструватися на сайті ukrswift.org і знайомитися з усією інформацією. Всі запити, будь ласка, направляйте безпосередньо на загальну пошту UkRSWIFT, ukrswift.org, а також до Лілії, яка витрачає свій драгоцінний час на те, щоб підтримувати нашу спільноту. Ну і, звичайно, мені. Тому дякую всім за увагу. Дякую всім, хто був присутній сьогодні. Лілі, якісь зауваження? Закінчення? Ні. Тоді дякуємо всім за час. Чекаємо на зустрічі з вами, переважно онлайн. Надіємося, що в скорому часі будемо зустрічатися не тільки онлайн, але поки що так. Але будемо робити це завжди з задоволенням. Тому дякую дуже. Всім до побачення, до наступних зустрічей.
До побачення.